Hello everyone, Carol Undy here with another digitising tutorial, and today we're going to do, over the next few videos we're going to look at converting a graphic to several different interpretations of the one picture. And as you can see, I have a photograph here of some fish, and I'll show you the graphic I used for that shortly, but this one I've done as an open work, reminiscent of Japanese sashiko, and I've put it on a cushion here, and so that's one example. If I close that one down, we've got an applique example of the same design, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Also the automatic digitizing plain design, and we may even look at doing some carving stamp on the fish as well, just so that you can see how many different ways you can interpret the one graphic. So I'm just going to close this particular software down so we can go into our Bernina software. And here we are with the graphic. Now this is a vector graphic that I created, and you can get that from my website. If you go to the online shop, the artwork submenu, and it's only $1 Australian. You can use this graphic in version 5 as well. It will just automatically convert it to a JPEG. Okay, now let's start with the auto digitizing. So if you're in version 6, and for those of you with version 5, just refer back to my auto digitizing tutorials to get to the next stage. In version 6 we have it so much easier with vector graphics. Have the graphics selected with your nodes around, and come over here to this icon, which is your convert graphic to embroidery, and we'll see the graphics mode embroidery box come up, and it just takes a little while for the software to convert that. So once it's done, it will come up in your embroidery canvas already converted. And if you've been following along in version 5, you'll get to this stage eventually, and you have a design ready to embroider out. Now this design is actually quite large. If I put the correct hoop in so you get some idea of scale, let's put in hoop let's go up to the Bernina hoops, and the 130 by 100. Okay, now that obviously is about 200 millimeters wide, and if we look down at the size down here, we can actually see that 195.5 millimeters wide and 107.2 millimeters high. So you wouldn't embroider a fish or any design that large with a solid fill stitch like this. So you've got some alternatives. I did the graphic purposely large so that you could use it for things like applique, which is one alternative to change the design to an applique design, and that way you avoid big areas of fill stitch. If you don't want to do an applique though, the simple thing is to resize the design or change the type of fill stitch. So if you'd still like a large fish, you could change the fill stitch to a pattern fill, and that's more open stitching where you actually see the fabric through the stitching, and therefore you can avoid that strong pull you'll get with big areas of fill stitch. You will, if you embroidered this all in fill stitch, your problems would be that the pull would actually distort the fish. It may even distort the fabric. You will also have problems with lining up your outline around. And if you just remember back, at the very least you should have your pull compensation for this design on 4 whenever you're auto digitizing. So if you haven't preset that, you can change it now. Now let's go on and look at creating a more open stitch to start with, and I'm going to look similar to the cushion one. I'm going to do it in the large size so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but then the design can always be resized at any time. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the face part of the design, because I want that completely clear so that just the colour of the fabric comes through. Now if we look at our film strip, now I want to just remove the face, so I need to click on this button here, and then I can find just the face, because this splits it up into objects. So I'm going to select the face and just delete that, and just by hitting my delete button on my keyboard, that will actually remove the face. Okay, now the fins are the next thing I'm going to tackle. So I want to tackle them all at once together so they all have the same sort of stitch. So I'm going to go back on my film strip to the colour section, and now I've just got the fins here with no face, so I can select easily all the fins there. Now once we've selected this, I'm going to go to the design view rather than the artistic view, because you can see better. I'm just going to remove the needle points because they're confusing. Okay, so you can see that all the fins are selected. Now I'm going to right click, and that will bring up my object properties box, and I'm going to change the stitch spacing, because even though this is just a normal fill stitch, you can make quite a nice open stitch with just the normal step pattern. So I'm just going to change the stitch spacing to 2 and apply that. And as you can see, the stitching has opened right up. I'm just going to go OK for the moment. There are a couple of problems here though by opening up the stitch. First of all, I can see all the underlay underneath. Let's just zoom in, because when it auto-digitized, it automatically digitized underlay under the stitching as well. So I've still got, as you can see, all the fins selected. So I'm going to remove the underlay, and we can easily do that up here by deselecting the auto underlay. Now I've just got the fill stitch showing, but I've also got this row of stitching running through here, where the software has run to the other end to stitch, and depending on the shape you'll get various run stitches. I'll zoom out again to show all. You can see here that we've got running stitch running here and around here and over here. Not so much on these fins, although there's a little bit here. To get rid of that, we need to select travel on edges, which means that those running stitches will actually run around the outside and be hidden under other stitching. So I'm going to right click again to open up my object properties, and go to the effects tab and go to others, and down here we'll find travel on edges. So if we select that and apply it, straight away you can see that those travelling stitches have disappeared. So we've got nice open see-through stitching. So we'll go OK. Now the only other thing I'd like to do with the fins is change the stitch angles, and I need to do those individually. So I'm going to deselect, and I'm going to select each fin individually. So you can insert different angles in your stitching with the Insert Angles tool down here. It's the same on version 5. Just select it and left click top and bottom to create your angles. When you've got all your angles in OK, just press enter, and you'll see the stitches are now running up and down. If we do it on the tail fin, select the tool, and I want the angles to going like this on the tail fin, and select enter, and now I've got a nice radiating ribs on the tail fin. These two fins down here are reasonably okay, so I'm not going to touch those. Okay, now I'll get you to watch the next video so that we can deal with the body.